What's up, y'all? Jason here, representing RAPTOR Reptiles, and today I'm going to bring you a video that I'm sure a lot of you heard. If you follow my Instagram and Facebook, but obviously, Diablo passed away last week, and we're just extremely upset about the whole situation. But we're trying to move forward the best we can. Being that we do breed bearded dragons, and I just want to bring you guys a couple of insight that I've gained, because I've actually lost 2 bearded dragons now since I really started getting into the hobby. And I feel like it's going to be a controversial video. Some people are going to maybe agree with me, some people won't, but I feel like it's insight that I feel like I need to share with everyone, just from my experiences. So, Diablo, he passed away. What ended up killing him was that he actually had an enlarged heart and an abnormal liver. So as you all know, my husbandry and bearded dragon care is extremely up to par. So when Diablo ended up showing me signs that he was kind of on his way out and wasn't doing good, it was almost too late, and I couldn't even believe it. Because as you all know, you've seen a bunch of my videos. I post all my dragons. I feel like I give them more than enough, the best care I can possible through all my experience that I have with dealing with reptiles. So it really was a shocker to me. So I get home from work. I'm usually gone 2-3 days at a time. I get home from work, and Kate tells me, hey, Diablo's acting funny. He's got a puffy black beard. I went into the cage to give him food, and he kind of just went after me. I'm like, okay, well, that's completely out of character. So keep that in mind for a second. If your animal is acting completely out of character, something is seriously wrong. Maybe not always life-threatening, but something is wrong and making them stressed out. So I said, okay, let me check him out. So then I check him out, and I see that he's kind of gasping for air, just acting really strange, also very aggressive towards me. So right away I knew something was up. So, I said, let me take him out for a second, see if I can calm him down. When I take him out, I'm just holding him like I'm holding, Big Boy right now. He's kind of just in and out of consciousness and all that. Just literally declined within 30 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I've never seen anything like this before. So I said, all right, Kate, call the vet. We're going to rush him right over right now, as an emergency. So first thing we do, take him in the car, take him to the vet, and he's literally dying in the car. It's very sad. I'm still very upset about the whole thing, because I really just, it just angers me. So we take him to the doctor, they check him out. They're like, alright, so we get into the appointment, and the doctor's like, wow, asking me all the questions. Like, he knows me well. He's like, yeah, I know, you breed them, you have a bunch of them. Stay here, little guy. You breed them, I know you're knowledgeable, so we know it's not a husbandry issue. So he does this evaluation and everything, and he goes, what we can do is we can test to see if he has any, infection. But he's like, because the symptoms were so acute, it leads me to think that it's possibly, something internal that I can't see right now, possibly something to do with his organs. So I said, okay, I take his word for it. So we waiting for the results back. So he took a blood sample from Diablo and said, hey, it's going to take 20-30 minutes for me to check it. So he's pretty much just checking for white blood cell count to see if he was septic, or caught some kind of bug, or had some kind of infection. So as we're waiting, my poor boy, he's literally dying, and I just can't even believe it. I'm like, how did this happen? Like, I'm kind of blaming myself. I'm like, did I do something wrong? Can't be. I got a bunch of other dragons. They're all doing fine. I just don't get it. It's going to be the second dragon I'm about to lose right now. So they get the results back. They're like, okay, it's not an infection. So I asked the vet, like, what are my options? Obviously you can take them to more expensive doctors. You can take them to specialists. They got reptile cardiologist for iguanas and all that, but literally at his state, he was declining so fast, and I just felt like he was suffering. So the doctor asked me, what do you want to do? I said, well, what do you think my best bet? He's like, you can take him home, I can give him a couple shots, but the prognosis isn't looking good. And I did that already with little Bubba, and it just was hard on us to have that going on here in the house, and I don't want them to suffer. Like, that's the last thing I want. So we had to make the decision, myself and Kate. We decided to put him down, and then even my vet, he's real well known around Long Island, was like, hey, I want to perform a necropsy on him because I want to know exactly what's wrong, and I want to know if it's going to even harm your colony, and just so I can learn what's going on. Because he said, obviously, Diablo, as you know, he was a very exotic bearded dragon. He was a hypo-translucent dunner. So he pretty much had, 3 morphs visually showing that, my vet explained to me, the more morphs that are in a bearded dragon, it actually weakens them. So they've all these morphs, they've never been scientifically really studied or tested in the wilderness, period. So people may say, yeah, but these dragons can live just as long, all that. Okay, yeah, that's fine, but it's not always a guarantee, because any genetic morph that these guys are showing, they're not in the wild right now for a reason. Like, those genes would probably be too weak for them to actually get to adulthood and breed, but because we have them in captivity and we can treat them, with such high care, and we have such an understanding on them, that we're able to have these awesome, mutations that people love. But kind of was an eye-opener to me, because that was the second dunner that I had lost due to a chronic illness that had to do, with their internal organs. So I asked him, well, he was fine he was just fine yesterday, like, how did that happen so quickly? And he just explained to me, he said, once the heart got too big to sustain the body, and he had an abnormal liver, so when they're a baby and they're really small and people are buying all these crazy paradox, translucent, zero, hypo, where they got 20 different mutations going on, yeah, they hatched out the egg, they seem healthy externally looking at them, they look fine, but as they get older and start developing, they may have an organ inside them that may fail them as they gain age. Because when he did perform the necropsy, he was like, wow, he had a lot of healthy fats on him, everything else looked great. He's like, I could tell your care is just top notch. He's like, unfortunately, he just had 2 abnormal major organs. There's literally nothing you can do, and he said that can literally kill them in one day, which obviously, killed Diablo. So pretty much what he told me is, this is the second dunner bearded dragon that you have lost. He's like, if I were you, I would just stay away from that morph. It just doesn't really seem that strong. I said, hey, I think you're right. And I know people are going to counter this and say, oh, well, I have been a 2-year-old dunner and all this. Okay, yeah, that's great that you have that. I'm happy. I just happen to get unlucky and lose 2 dragons, and I don't like losing them. So bottom line, we just, we're not going to be owning or breeding any dunner morph bearded dragons, because it's just too hard. You put in all this time, effort, you get a bond. Like, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this to get rich. This isn't my primary job. This is my hobby and my passion that I love. So I don't want to lose any dragons, because I get such a bond with them, even after 6 months, even after a couple weeks after you play with them. They all have such different personalities. They're great. So when you lose one, it's just, it's tough. So I just had to make up that mind. Myself and Kate, we made up our mind, and we're just not going to put ourselves through that again. So, and I know there's, perfectly healthy dunners out there and all that, but I happen to have bad luck with 2 from 2 different breeders, and I don't believe that it's the breeder's fault. There's no way to really know. Like, they're not testing your dragon once it's born out of the egg for any abnormalities. And like my vet said, even if he was able to save Diablo, those traits right there, like the abnormal organs and stuff, in reptiles, they can get passed down generations. So somewhere in that bloodline, there was a dragon that may have made it to adulthood and, you know, bred, and maybe passed that weak gene along. So that's what I'm saying. I just want you all to know that all these really flashy morphs, and when you start combining them all together, it really does weaken the dragon. That's why I bought Big Boy here. People may say, oh, well, he's not as impressive visually. Well, to me, he's very impressive. He's definitely big for his age. He's going to pass along perfectly healthy genes to one of my more exotic bearded dragons. So why should I pair two extremely exotic dragons together and just weaken it? Just, to me, it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to personally do it. People do it all the time. I'm not hating on them. You know, I guess you can do what you want. I just want to produce really healthy dragons, you know, that have some very strong bloodlines. So that's why I got this amazing guy right here, because he's a straight up normal bearded dragon, and he's growing at the fastest rate. He's my only normal bearded dragon that I have, and I have to say, he's probably, he's definitely the strongest. You know, he's going to be the strongest one and the biggest. Oh, come here, big boy. So that just again goes to prove my point right there. So I don't want anyone to take this video the wrong way. I'm not trying to deter anyone from buying, you know, dragons with multiple morphs and all that, because I have dragons with multiple morphs too. You know, just keep that in mind though, that you can buy a dragon from a breeder. It can be fine for, you know, 2, 3, 6, maybe even a year, and then all of a sudden, you know, an abnormal, something wrong with their organs happen. Yeah, so I just want to reiterate from the video, I just wanted to explain it to you guys exactly what happened. So it's just really important to really pay attention to your dragon's behavior, how they're acting, and then just keep that in mind when, you know, you're buying dragons with all these different genetic mutations and all that, because, you know, I know they just came out. The whiplets are pretty new. The xeromorphs are pretty new. And I'm already seeing people trying to sell, you know, those dragons that are, you know, translucent, hypo, and leatherback already. Like, that seems a bit crazy. Like, these genes are weak and I feel like they need to be strengthened over the years. But, you know, because of money, and people feel like, well, the more mutations they have, the more they're going to be worth. They just keep pumping them too fast with mutations. So and that's the reason why, I mean, I haven't seen many pictures of full adult translucent whiplets or zeros, and the reason I believe that is because, yeah, people are hatching them out, but they're really not living to adulthood. So keep that in mind when you're breeding too. You don't want to produce an animal and then give them kind of an unfair advantage, and, you know, they can't even make it to adulthood. So, you know, that's pretty much it. I really don't want the video to drag on, but I feel like this is some more important insight that I feel you guys should know. And like I said, it's controversial. You can either agree with me or you don't, and hey, no hard feelings. But if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks again for the support. I mean, my page is growing right now. I'm extremely happy. You know, keep sharing my page. If, you know, if I get up to 250 followers, I'm going to do some sort of giveaway. Either a bearded dragon, maybe some feeders, you know, maybe some supplements. So keep that in mind as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video.